a wedding ceremony, the couple stands at the end of the aisle in front of witnesses and promises lifelong death until death do us part, fidelity and devotion. If it doesn't work out, they just go to court and end it all with a divorce. Sometimes, oftentimes, they end up standing again in front of friends at the end of the aisle and making the same promises. Exactly how much weight does our fidelity promise carry? Hi, this is Barry Phillips with 10-Minute Torah, day number 5 of the Torah portion of Naso. And we're going to finish up this week again in chapter number 5 of the book of Numbers, or Bamidbar. In verse number 12 it says, "Speak to the children of Israel and say to them, when a man's wife turns aside and has committed a trespass against him, and a man has intercourse with her, and it is hidden from the eyes of her husband, and it is concealed that she has defiled herself, and there was no witness against her, nor was she caught, and a spirit of jealousy comes upon him, and he becomes jealous of his wife who has defiled herself, or a spirit of jealousy has come upon him, and he's become jealous of his wife, although she has not defiled herself, then the man shall bring his wife to the priest, and he shall bring the offering for her 1/10 of an ephah of barley flour. He is not to pour oil on it or put frankincense on it, because it is a grain offering of jealousy, an offering for remembering, for bringing crookedness to remembrance." And then we read about the ritual of the concoction called the bitter waters and the potential end results of this woman drinking the bitter waters. What is this all about, and why is this included? Is Yah really concerned about a husband's jealousy? When we read the Torah and its commands, there is an initial surface level application. Certainly, if a husband is jealous of his wife because she has been seen in the company of a man who is not her husband on a consistent basis, she has by some means in her actions or her suspicious ways aroused jealousy in her husband's heart. Some men, yes, they're going to be jealous and overly protective about every little thing. I saw that. I saw you look. I saw you do. That's not what we're talking about here. There is a secondary application, probably many more applications here concerning this text. And it's referencing symbolically the jealousy that Yah has pertaining to his people. Consider the following. In the book of Shemot, or Exodus, chapter number 20, it says in verse number 3 and following, "You shall have no other mighty ones against my face. You do not make for yourself a carved image or any likeness of that which is in the heavens above, or which is in the earth beneath, or which is in the waters under the earth. You do not bow down to them nor serve them, for I, Yahweh, your Elohim, am a jealous El, visiting the crookedness of the fathers on the children to the 3rd and 4th generations of those who hate me." In Shemot, or Exodus, chapter number 34. He says, verse 12 and following, "Guard yourself, lest you make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land where you're going, lest it be a snare in your midst. But break down their slaughter places and smash their pillars and cut down their asherim. You do not bow yourselves to another mighty one, for Yahweh, whose name is jealous, is a jealous El, lest you make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land, and they whore after their mighty ones, and slaughter their mighty ones, and one of them invites you, and you eat of his slaughterings." So Yah is saying to Israel, I am jealous of you. Hopelessly devoted to you, perhaps, if we want to take a modern love song in consideration. So Yah is saying to Israel, by your deeds, by your ways, by your secrecies that you think you have, you arouse my jealousies. Now, this woman that we're reading about is not a wife being subjected to a potential judgment without reason. The rabbinical understanding here is that she has been warned by her husband not to be seen in the company of someone who is obviously attracted to her and is seeking to seduce or suit her, to draw her away to himself, and that after being warned, she has continued to be found in the company of this opposing man, this one that would take her if he could. And so her husband's jealousies have been aroused because she has refused to act in propriety. So she has, in arousing her husband's jealousies, she is threatening her marriage covenant. Likewise, as the people of Yah, we have done similarly. When we have celebrated at the tables of other gods, engaging in their feast days, we did not realize that we were arousing Yah's jealousy toward us. When we deny the legitimacy of the Torah, we don't understand that we are speaking against our own marriage covenant. When we try to change Shabbat to any other day of the week, then Shabbat being the wedding band or the engagement ring of the bride of Messiah, we're putting on someone else's wedding band. Now, if you worship on a different day than Shabbat and you're not there yet, I'm not speaking in condemnation towards you, but Shabbat is Shabbat and will always be Shabbat. And there is no changing it. Worship, celebrate Yah any and every day of the week, but Shabbat is Shabbat. And those that are his will wear his ring. And then when we smear and accuse others, and we start this marriage squabble within the body or the bride of Messiah, we go back to the garden where the first couple squabbled and fussed and ended up losing the radiant glory of Yah that was upon their lives. Consider this. In the Sotah, as she is called, and the woman who has aroused her husband's jealousy, the Sotah, she's brought before the priest. This grain offering of jealousy is presented, and the priest causes her hair to be let down. Normally, this is something in Hebraic culture at this time that is only done for the husband. But she is now standing before the priest, and her glory is being let down. Her hair is her covering, her glory. So if we were to see the Garden of Eden as the marriage bed of the Messiah, and don't take this to the wrong understandings here, but it is a sacred place, a very special, intimate place in the Messiah. There the bride stood before him, unclothed yet unashamed, as it should be. This caused her to be covered with his light, the Shekinah. She was radiant, she was glowing, she was righteous. There's no sense of nudity and lust here. This is purity and that which is not defiled. When she entered into, that is this first couple being the bride of Messiah, when she entered into sin, then the shame aspect of everything came into play. Likewise, the Shekinah, the glory, it is the hair of the bride that is her covering, her radiance. And so the hair is let down in this woman's presence, or her hair is let down in the priest's presence. If there is glory about her, she's covered. If she is sinful and defiled, it will be revealed. She drinks a concoction, again, it's called the bitter waters. I find it interesting that there is a planet called Wormwood that is supposed to hit the Earth, a meteor, asteroid, and causes the waters to become bitter. A testing of the bride. If she's innocent, nothing happens, and she becomes fruit-bearing. If she's guilty, she's judged. Yah's going to judge his bride. We need to be prepared for that. Shabbat shalom to you, to all your family, to all who gather with you. May the shalom, the shekinah, the glory of Yah show up with you and for you as you rest in His presence. We'll see you again next week. Till then, shalom.